The new Christopher Nolan movie, The Odyssey, has divided his fans around the world, and there is a strong possibility that the movie will fail. And in this video, I will explain why. Some people try to defend the movie, claiming that the original poem written by Homer between 725 and 675 BCE is a work of fiction, and because of that, Nolan has the right to take as much creative freedom as he likes, and that his talent will help the movie perform over expectations and silence the naysayers. However, there is a trend that has been recurring within Hollywood and many people fail to notice, and it is a clear forecast of the potential fall from grace that Nolan is bound to experience. Before we continue, make sure to click like and subscribe if you dig my video, and write a comment if you agree or not. Thanks! Christopher Nolan has made the decision to cast a diverse number of actors from several nationalities and racial backgrounds. This normally wouldn't be an issue if the movie was a modern tale or even a modern interpretation of the classic poem from Homer, taking place in the present day or maybe a long time ago in a galaxy far away. For example, the Odyssey, but in outer space, similar to Star Wars. I would love to see that happen. Unfortunately, Christopher Nolan's movie takes place in the original time and setting, but with present-day aesthetics, keeping some elements close to the source material while diverging from other areas, such as casting actors from different countries except from Greece, and using modern dialogues such as the words "daddy" and "let's go."
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know. My dad is coming home.
This has made many people question his judgment, since these decisions undermine the epic weight that the original material carries. There is a lack of congruence that rubs people the wrong way, which outright alienates lovers of the classic tale. At the time the second trailer of the movie was released, industry shills came to the defense of the film, claiming that the criticisms were unfounded.
And I was just blown away by it. Just blown away by it. I love the scope of this thing. I love the power and the energy of this thing. Anne Hathaway looks like she's angling for a Best Supporting Actress nomination here. Pattinson back as a villain, like he's going to be the villain in Dune 3. Tom Holland's pretty much just observing stuff overall. But yeah, I thought this looked epic as fuck. Just blown away by what they're going to do.
1,000%, man. I am looking forward to it, but I would love to know what the controversy is. What are people getting bent out of shape about?
So there's 3 or 4 things. The first thing is people say it's too dark and they can barely see some of the visuals and stuff. And this is something that Nolan has been dealing with, I think, since Tenet. This idea that some of his films are a little too dark or you can barely see what's going on, what have you. So that's some of the complaints people have. The other thing is that the use of dad or daddy in the film, in the trailer, which is people say like that's a modern term when no one would use dad back then. Now let's keep in mind, this is a mythological story, not a true story. This is not real. There was no fucking Cyclops. There was there's no fucking Calliope. Like this is all like, just, yes, there are some real shit like the Trojan War, but it's not really based in any kind of semblance of actual stuff, so to speak. And now people are upset that they have American accents and they don't have British accents or Greek accents or anything like this. So these are the things that people are upset about when you look at this, when they're analyzing the trailer. I've seen it all over social media. I'm like, this is what people are upset about? This? I know, it's crazy to me.
I go back to the same thing I've said a few times. I think that the aliens just need to come and take us out, bro. I think we've had a good run. We some bitch made bitches as a collective whole. Just go ahead and take us out.
But these people are not to be taken seriously, because they have the tendency to bend backwards to defend movies because they rely on the industry to earn favors from Hollywood studios, such as early screenings and access to special events. These industry shills claim that the movie will succeed because of its diverse cast, which is bound to bring people from different corners of society.
If there is an element of, once again, you are trying to make this a 4-quadrant movie. So in casting, you're thinking about this, man, we got Matt Damon in this, we got Tom Holland in this, we have all of these stars. Yo, you know what actually be a good way to potentially get like even more black folk? Shit, if we put Zendaya and Travis and all of this, who are all talented and have more than enough, like can prove it with their abilities that they can like knock these roles out of the park, you are also doing good business by then bringing in even more people to come and see the movie. Like now I'm just like, take your racism out of it. You're just a bad businessman.
However, these same people who have the tendency to avoid negatively criticizing films tend to contradict themselves since they often speak without following a cohesive narrative. Proof of this is the fact that while at one moment they claim that the cast will bring audiences from different backgrounds, a few minutes later they contradict themselves when they claim that nowadays directors are the ones who bring the audiences to the theaters and not the movie stars.
And I think the great filmmakers that are now, because of the Time, if you guys haven't read the Time article, I highly, highly recommend it. It's free. You can read it online. It's a really great, long, incisive exploration of his process in making the Odyssey. And one of the things they talk about in the article was like, and something you and I have said before too on the show and other shows, Winston, it's the directors that sell movies nowadays. It's no longer the actors necessarily, but it's like Nolan, Tarantino, Greta Gerwig, Villeneuve. Like these are the names that get people into theaters to see these movies, right? And it's because they do a nice job of mixing mainstream instincts with artistic approaches.
In this case, two things cannot be true at the same time. Either the audience will come for the cast or they will come for the director. Which one is it? But in the case of the Odyssey, there is a case to be made that Christopher Nolan has doomed the movie by making decisions that have offended audiences by not respecting the source material. This is because there is a history of movie directors who are revered and adored by critics and moviegoers alike, and this constant adoration tends to make the directors buy into their own hype, making them believe that they cannot do wrong. For example, in recent history, we have 3 cases where directors made this mistake with dire consequences. We start with number 1, Paul Feig, 2016, The Ghostbusters. Paul Feig is a talented director who has made some great comedies, such as The Heat and Bridesmaids, which is one of my personal favorites. Unfortunately, in 2016, he made the movie Ghostbusters, which was a remake of the original 1984 movie. In short, the movie was irreverent to the source material, which angered fans of the original movie.
We were talking about a guy from where was he? Philly, I think, and he was basically saying that this, the new version of Ghostbusters is ruining my childhood. I don't understand to be angry to that point.
I know it's kind of odd. I mean, again, I understand the passion and I understand not wanting to be touched, but at the same time, I don't think anything can ruin your childhood, can it? It can maybe taint something I don't know. That's the one thing I'm kind of mystified by.
I think it's the only thing that you can't ruin in your life is your childhood. It's your memories.
Yeah. I mean, if your childhood was bad, that was already ruined, and I hope you didn't have that experience.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
And to make things worse, the director and cast insulted the fans and doubled down in their decisions and blamed the criticisms on toxic masculinity and the racism against Leslie Jones, who is a talented comedic actress. And there is some truth to that. Jones was verbally attacked by people such as Braveheart writer Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a horrible human being. The problem is that when large crowds of angry people tend to gather, there will always be a small number of individuals who will take things too far. This happens in any group and demographic. Anger will always show its ugly face and bring the worst in people regardless of race, gender, religion, or nationality. And when the dust cleared up, the movie had lost $58.6 million to the studio. Now we're moving to number 2. Francis Ford Coppola, 2024, Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola became a legend after creating such epic films as Apocalypse Now and The Godfather Part 1 and 2. But the director took the task of bringing to film his passion project called Megalopolis, which he had wanted to make since the 70s, when he was still filming Apocalypse Now. Now, Coppola had pitched his passion project to multiple studios, but they refused to produce the film because they deemed it too risky. The director, guided by blind faith, ended up financing the film by selling his personal assets, including his Napa Valley winery. In the end, the movie was released in 2024, and it was critically panned and a commercial failure, bringing only $14 million on a production cost of $120 million, not counting the promotional cost.
Francis Ford Coppola is going to go down in history as one of the greats, making two of arguably the greatest films. Some would say the absolute greatest films of all time. That's how important, that's how iconic, that is how legendary Francis Ford Coppola is. Of course, he had a passion project, the new movie Megalopolis, that he sold part of his vineyard, or sold his vineyard and used part of the proceeds of that to make his $120 million passion project. So they played it for distributors at an industry event, and the distributors were like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And the worry was, and I said, nobody's gonna go see this movie. And they projected about $6 or $7 million, which is nothing, but apparently it made less than nothing. It made $4 million in its opening weekend. This comes just from the folks over at Variety who wrote the following. Ticket sales for Megalopolis were less than initial projections of $5 million to $7 million, which would have been a financially disastrous anyway for the $120 million budgeted film. By comparison, Kevin Costner's mostly self-funded $100 million budget passion project Horizon American Saga Part 1 made almost 3 times as much, with $11 million over its opening weekend before tapping out with $36 million worldwide.
And finally, number 3. Ridley Scott, 2021, The Last Duel. Ridley Scott is a legendary director who has created some of the most iconic films in Hollywood, such as the original Alien, Blade Runner, and most recently directed the film adaptation of the novel The Martian. But in 2021, Scott released his film The Last Duel. Now, The Last Duel on paper is a movie that should have done well because it has a good story, a talented cast, and a great director. With that said, the budget for the film was $100 million. The problem is that the theme of the movie was graphic and adult-oriented, which alienated young demographics who tend to be the ones with disposable income as well as spare time to go to the theaters. On top of that, the audience's viewing habits in the 2020s have changed. Most adult demographics tend to stay home and stream content out of convenience. In today's economic environment, it's too expensive to go to the theaters. And to make things worse, Ridley Scott publicly lashed out, blaming the film's failure on young generations, stating that the audiences raised on cell phones and Facebook lacked the patience or desire to learn about complex historical narratives unless delivered to them via their devices. In other words, the director refused to adapt to changing times, refusing to lower the budget of his films to accommodate the viewer's public habits.
Ben Affleck is opening up about why he thinks The Last Duel bombed at the box office. At the premiere of the actor's new film, The Tender Bar, a reporter asked the star, quote, Ridley Scott blamed millennials for The Last Duel underperforming. What's your take? Affleck said, in part, Ridley is at the stage in his career where obviously he's completely unencumbered by concerns about what people think. Affleck started off by saying that he's had movies bomb that weren't good, but he doesn't think that's the case with this film. He said, this movie, The Last Duel, I really like. It's good and it plays. I saw it play with audiences, and now it's playing well on streaming. It wasn't one of those films that you say, oh boy, I wish my movie had worked. According to the actor, the film's performance has to do more with how the movie business is changing. Affleck went on to say, in part, one of the fundamental ways it's changing is that the people who want to see complicated, adult, non-IP dramas are the same people who are saying to themselves, you know what, I don't need to go out to a movie theater because I'd like to pause it, go to the bathroom, finish it tomorrow. It's that along with the fact that you can watch with good quality at home. The actor said of films landing on streaming, I would rather have people see this and watch it, and I don't need to be stuck to the old ways of doing business. The theatrical experience is great. I love the theatrical experience, but the business has changed over time. I think that's okay.
And in conclusion, directors like Christopher Nolan, Ridley Scott, and Francis Ford Coppola have created some of the most iconic films in history and have the admiration of millions of people worldwide. However, movie directors tend to reach a point in their careers where they will no longer listen to the audience's needs or adapt to the changing times. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has an estimated budget of $250 million, and according to industry standards, in order for the movie to become profitable, it has to earn 3 times its budget to be considered a success. With that said, at the time of this video, the movie's promotional trailer is one of the most disliked trailers in Nolan's history, meaning the director has already alienated a good chunk of audience who could have gone to the theater. Will the movie bomb at the box office? Who knows? Only time will tell. Do you think the movie will succeed or will it fail? Try a comment down below, and if you like this video, click a like and subscribe. My name is Carlos. I'm a fox hunter. Bye-bye for now and take care.